Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Our group will present about our study is fast food industry in United States within 2014 until 2018. There are 5 companies we will study, which is Papa John's, Starbucks Coffee, Cheers Chicken, Domino's Pizza and Dunkin' Brand. For background of industry, the United States is undeniable the pioneer of modern fast service restaurant. In 1920, the fast food industry started and was quickly expanding and developing with a well-known fast food chain such as KFC, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Wendy, and others. The fast food market has proved to be a highly profitable industry with annual sales of more than 119 billion in America alone and more than 230 billion fast food establishments. The fast food industry in the United States was said to be worth about 256 billion in 2018. Of company. First is Papa John. Papa John's story states when it was founded in 1984 by Papa John's Senator transformed a broom closet in the back of his dead taverns in Jeffersonville. Second is Cheers Chicken. Cheers Chicken is an American chain of rapid food restaurants specializing in fried chooks, also trading outdoor North America as Texas Chooks or Cheers Texas Chicken. Next is Dunkin' Brands. Dunkin' Brand was founded by William Rosenberg in Quincy in 1950. The purchase of the Mr. Donut chains and the conversion of the chains to Dunkin' Brand enabled the growth of the brand in North America that year. For the Starbucks Coffee, Starbucks Corporation is an American international chain of coffee houses and roasters reserved primarily based in Seattle, Washington. The last is Domino's Pizza. Domino's was founded in 1961, where Tom Monaghan and his brother James took over Domino's operation, an existing location of a small pizza restaurant chain owned by Dominic DiVati. Aim of this study is to investigate the impact of financial risk management in relation to macroeconomics towards industry performance. There are 5 companies that we are study, which is Papa John's, Starbucks Corporation, Cheers Chicken, Domino's Pizza, and Dunkin' Brand. For research objective, the first is to investigate and identify the internal factor of fast food industry impact dependent variable. Second is to investigate and identify the external factor of fast food industry impact the dependent variable. The third is to investigate how internal and external factor impact the dependent variable. For the research questions, the first is there any internal factor fast food industry impact to dependent variable? Second is there any external factor of fast food industry impact to dependent variable? And the last is how internal and external factor are impact to dependent variable.
Okay, my name is Adiba Shira binti Muhammad Yunus and my matrix number is 268126. So I'll be presenting about our literature review. The literature review connected to our study was referenced in this part. The record that can be gotten from paper, articles, and different reports are seen by these studies. These sources have a wide scope of subtitles that can be utilized. In these studies, 4 articles will be examined or studies that are identified with the organization result, which is from Papa John's, Starbucks, Cheers Chickens, Domino's Pizza, and also Dunkin' Brands. So we examine their liquidity risk, credit risk, financial risk, and also operational risk. Okay, for liquidity risk, as stated by Rahman and Nicolau, liquidity risk in business bank is characterized as the likelihood that over a particular skyline, the bank will get incapable to settle commitments with quickness. So to be an effective liquidity, it requires keeping up an adequate money holds available while likewise contributing. However, many assets as would be prudent to amplify income. As for Goodhart 2018, there are 2 essential aspects of liquidity risk. These are development changes, which are the development of a bank liabilities and resources, and the inbound liquidity of a bank resource, portrayed as the degree to which a resource can be sold without bringing out about a huge loss of significant worth under any economic situations. Next, for the credit risk happen because of the powerlessness of clients to pay their commitments inside of 4 orderings timeframes in the bank advance consents to the clients. For example, reimbursement of advance, hit, interest installments, and other that are not in understanding with a 4 orderings timeframes. In the event that is not overseen appropriately, this will result in progressively risk credit, which is called non-performing loans, that will be affect banking conditions. As stated by Rustam 2018, credit risk is also a risk because of disappointment of a different gathering to satisfy commitments to financial foundations that furnish acknowledge in understanding the concurrent arrangement. Okay, so for the financial risk is the risk of losing cash or any significant resources. With regard to financial business sector, we may characterize risk as the measure of cash one can lose when exchanging or contributing. In this way, the risk isn't genuine misfortune yet, what can be in long run loss. As stated by Dino 2013, she featured that financial risk management give the essential data to the board choices, moderations or avoidance of financial risk. As for Panik Rahi 2011, financial risk management stress on the way that the survival of business element exclusively relies upon its abilities to foresee risk and measure the risk rather than stand by and disregards the risk, as it would not be fixed by any stretch of the imaginations. Next, for operational risk envelops a bunch of components that are available in each business actions and associations. As stated by Basel II Committee 2001, operational risk is the business risk of misfortune coming about because of insufficient of boom territorial cycles, individuals, frameworks, or from outer occasions. It alludes to the degree at which an organization can handle the forestalls a misfortune in their generally fundamental and base level action, which stay in the use and execution of primary administrations and organization offer.
I will explain more on a methodology for our research. So the population in this study is the company effect of internal factor, external factor, and boost factor in the fast food industry toward our independent variable. From this population, five fast food companies from United States were chosen, which are Papa John's, Starbucks, Subway, Crust Chicken, and Domino's Pizza. So to measure dependent variable and independent variable, we are using the data from annual report from the year 2014 until 2018. Our statistical data, our technique, we are choosing United States to conduct this study and narrow down the fast food industry and have chosen five fast food companies, which are Papa John's, Starbucks, Subway, Crust Chicken, and Domino's Pizza as a sample. We are using our annual report from the companies and use the income statement and balance sheets from the year 2014 until 2018 to calculate the effect of the firm-specific factors such as profitability, liquidity, credit, operational, and corporate governance index. For non-financial statement, we are using for corporate governance index score such as disclosure of information regarding board of director, size of the board director, gender, audit committee, and the social program available such as charity, donation, or green technology. To obtain macroeconomic factor, we are using GDP, inflation rate, interest rate, exchange rates, and market risk for 5 years is collected to see the trend of economic condition from 2014 until 2018. Usually, for our data, we are using ordinary least squared regression for this research. This technique can be extended to a single or multiply explanatory and coded category explanatory variables. So for our data analysis, this according to the conceptual research in future, there are only one dependent variables and 3 independent variables in this study. As you can see in my picture, you can in the slide you can see that our dependent variable will affect the internal factor, external factor, and boost factor. So, we are using IBM SPSS version 25 to calculate the result obtained from the data. So, SPSS is also known as Statistical Package for Social Science. Is a versatile software that allows researchers to analyze the statistical data. In this study, IBM SPSS statistic will be only used to measure the correlations between linear regression and variable based on quantitative data collected. Qualitative data refer to the numerical factor graded to the annual report. That's all for me.
Hi, my name is Nurka Marina binti Jasri and my matrix number is 267656. And my part is I will explain about the finding and data analysis for this report. Okay, first is performance on internal factors. The table above is the model summary of 5 companies written on asset for the internal factor. As we can see, this table tells us that 47.1% of the variance in the dependent variable is explained by the corporate governance index and debt to income. This result is consistent with the past study by Martinelli et al. 2011. The return on asset will be positively related to debt to income, operating margin, operational ratio, and current ratio. Next, the second table is ANOVA of 5 companies return on asset or internal factors. So, from the table, we can learn that debt to income, operating margin, operational ratio, current ratio, quick ratio, and average collection period has a great effect to the dependent variables. This result is consistent with the past study, and the return on asset will be affected by debt to income, operating margin, operational ratio, and the current ratio. Okay, the next table is coefficient of 5 company return on asset for internal factors. So from this table, we found that quick ratio has the biggest significant effect to the return on asset with the p-value less than 0.05. This indicates that the company return on asset is increased when the quick ratio increase. The result is consistent with the study of impact of return on asset on debt to income, operating margin, operation ratio, current ratio of firm, evident by Martini. Besides, quick ratio influence return on asset positively, while current ratio, average collection period, and operational ratio influence return on asset negatively. Okay, next is the performance for the external factor. The first table is the model summary of 5 companies on return on asset of internal factors. So from this table, it tells us that negative 12.2% of the variance is in the dependent variable is explained by no influence. This result is inconsistent with the past study done by Fang that corporate governance index, interest rate, inflation growth, domestic product is giving uncertain impact to company return on asset. Okay, the second table is the ANOVA of 5 companies for the external factor. So from this table, we can learn that the corporate governance index, interest rate, inflation, and growth domestic product has no effect to the dependent variable. This result is inconsistent with the past study done by Fang that state all these external factors has no significance to return on asset. The third table is the coefficient of the company return on asset on external factors. So from this table, we found that the interest rate has the lower negative significance effect to return on asset with p-value less than 0.05. This indicates that the company return on asset is increased when the interest rate decrease. But in this study show that this entire external factor is not correlated to the dependent variable because the significant value is more than 0.01. So next is performance on internal and external factors. So the first table is the model summary. So this table tells us that 39.60% of the variance in the dependent variable is explained by the CG index, corporate governance index, current ratio, average collection period, GDP, operating margin, inflation, interest rate, operational ratio, quick ratio, and debt to income. This result is consistent with the past study done by D. Silva that corporate governance index is giving more impact to company performance. Okay, The second table is ANOVA. This table show that we can learn that corporate governing index have the greatest effect to the dependent variable. This result is consistent with the past study done by the Silva that corporate governing index is giving more importance to company performance. Last, the third table is coefficient of the five company return on asset on both internal and external factors. From this table, we found that debt to income has the most significant effect to return on asset. Besides, debt to income influence return on asset positively. This result is consistent with the study of expected return, realized return, and asset pricing test review that state the increase of a return on asset in a country will eventually decrease the debt to income as well. Okay, that's all from me. Thank you.
As a conclusion, in the past 5 years, these 5 companies has their own performance, but the risk of all companies mainly affected by operational risk, which is the internal and external factor. Operational risk depend on internal and external factors. However, it is difficult for the company to control internal and external factor. The higher the operational risk in United States, the better the company operational will be. If a company can improve its operational risk, the company performance and ability to withstand short-term responsibility will be more better. Lastly, we would recommend that fast food industry should prevent the industry from against the financial risk. The board of the directors should not put the industry in a criminal edge by allowing one person to hold the position as the director of the boards and the chief executive officer. Besides that, the company should have an analysis system to analyze the achievement and the performance of the every director. So, that's all from our group. Thank you for lending me your ear. Bye bye.